What's going on, guys? Anthrax here. So today I have a new election video for you, and I'm going to be breaking down the election results from the state of New Hampshire, from the Democratic primary and the Republican primary, and I'll also be showing you the up-to-date delegate map count for the Democratic nomination. But before I do that, I just want to say, first off, thank you to everyone who watched my most recent video of who will win the New Hampshire primary. As you can see on the left here, based on how my channel usually performs, the amount of people watching that and watching the video and subscribing to my channel after that was absolutely amazing. And it absolutely blew away every expectation I had for that video. And I just want to say to everyone who watched and left a comment and subscribed or whatever, thank you so much. And I really appreciate it if you could leave a like, subscribe, and comment on this video as well. And if this is your first time seeing the channel, please, I highly recommend you checking out this video and checking out any of the playlists I have, as well as a few of the podcasts I do as well. I hope you'll really enjoy it. So with that being said, thank you once again, and let's get into the video. So let's start off with what happened in the state of New Hampshire. Iowa we kind of already broke down, and we haven't really seen any new results since then. So New Hampshire, what happened? Well, we know New Hampshire went to Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders has been declared the official winner in the state of New Hampshire. Now, if you remember from 2016, Bernie Sanders pretty much beat Hillary Clinton by a lot in this state. I mean, summarize it pretty quickly and lightly. Bernie Sanders won New Hampshire by a lot in 2016. So Bernie Sanders winning the state of New Hampshire wasn't too much of a surprise. That being said, this race was much closer than a lot of people thought. And to a point, honestly, I thought it would be close, but I was thinking Bernie would win within like 3 to 5. Bernie only beat Mayor Pete Buttigieg by 1.3%. That is very big. And we'll be getting onto the delegates later, but yeah, this was very close. So, where did Bernie Sanders do good? And a big surprise, Amy Klobuchar came in third place, which is big. Which, I don't know if you noticed on the New Hampshire video, when I recorded it, I recorded it on, I think, either Friday or Saturday. So this is when the polls, Amy Klobuchar was still in 6th or 5th place. So I really didn't foresee the rise of Amy Klobuchar. And even, I had the video up, I did start to see Amy Klobuchar's numbers go up and the potential of her coming in third. But I just figured, like, I already posted the video. I mean, there's no point of remaking a whole video just for one candidate. So I thought I just left the video as it is. But, yeah, very impressive night for both Pete Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar. And obviously, you have to give a very impressive night to Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders won, without a doubt. Give the winner the credit. So, how did Bernie Sanders win? Well, New Hampshire's a state I know very well. This is your first time on the channel, I am from Massachusetts. I go to New Hampshire all the time. So New Hampshire I know pretty well. Bernie Sanders ran up the population vote in the city of Manchester. Here we go. Manchester, Bernie Sanders won. He got 31.3% of the vote. Buttigieg got 20.6%. Klobuchar 17.8%. So the exact vote numbers of who came in first, second, and third are pretty similar, if not the same, across all these counties. But this is what you need to see. Bernie Sanders ran it up in Manchester, which is the most dense city or area in the state of getting like votes out. Like, it's the most condensed people, because even though New Hampshire, it's a state, it has some cities like Manchester, Concord, Portsmouth, Nashua to a degree, but it's not really, it doesn't have any like big cities. Like, New Hampshire doesn't have a Boston or a New York or Chicago or Detroit or something like that. So Manchester kind of is their big city, and Bernie Sanders did very well in Manchester. And then the city of Concord, much closer, but Bernie Sanders, he won in Concord. Amy Klobuchar came in second narrowly. Pete Buttigieg narrowly came in third. So the two big population centers, Bernie Sanders was able to win. And now you go down to Nashua, Bernie Sanders, the other big population center, Bernie Sanders narrowly won there as well. So you see where a lot of Bernie Sanders votes came from. Like, that's 4,800. And now plus Manchester, there we go, 63, that's about 10,000. I'm just doing rough math here. That's 13,000 votes right there. He got 76,000. That's just 13,000 right there. But yeah. So those are the three population centers, the big ones. But if you remember, Bernie Sanders won all throughout the state in 2016. Where did he win this time? Well, for starters, he won out here. He went out here on the Vermont border. Bernie Sanders, senator from Vermont. all these Vermont bordering towns and college towns primarily, they all went to Bernie Sanders out here. Not much of a surprise. And these little green counties like Jefferson and Randolph, these are all counties won by Amy Klobuchar. The dark green is Amy Klobuchar. The like tealish light blue is Bernie Sanders. The light green is Pete Buttigieg. And I was gonna before I talk about Mayor Pete Buttigieg, I was gonna tell you first what Amy Klobuchar did. Amy Klobuchar way overperformed in the state of New Hampshire that not many people saw coming. The biggest reason for that, without a doubt, was Amy Klobuchar's performance in the debate. She did a very good job in the debate, resonated very well with a lot of people in the state of New Hampshire, and it showed, with their numbers surging, and Senators Elizabeth Warren and Vice President Joe Biden absolutely plummeted. Joe Biden, I mean, the writing was kind of on the wall after Iowa. He's probably going to take a hit in New Hampshire, but no one expected 8.4% bad of a hit. But Elizabeth Warren, 9.2%, that was a big surprise. She didn't get any delegates out of a state she really needed to win to continue to be competitive in this nomination process. So that was a big blow for Elizabeth Warren. But as I mentioned, Amy Klobuchar did very well winning these green counties, these smaller green counties throughout the state. She did very well. But first, I want to talk about Pete Buttigieg. And this is where Pete Buttigieg did well. In the state of New Hampshire, throughout the southern border, as the mouse I kind of draw here, right here, straight across, this is where most of the population is. Most of the population is in southern New Hampshire. And across the border in southern New Hampshire are a lot of people from Massachusetts who moved up to New Hampshire to avoid such the high taxes. Now, why they moved to New Hampshire and still vote Democrat, I mean, that's a good question to be asked. You're escaping the high taxes, which Democrats put into place. But anyway, not important. So people from Massachusetts, a lot of them move into southern New Hampshire so they can still commute to Boston and get paid, but they don't have to pay the high sales taxes, the high real estate taxes, such like that. They avoid most of the high taxes. So most of the population's here. And a town that has been booming recently, if I can find it on the map here, is Salem. Salem has been growing in population over time. I know I live not too far away from Salem. They're doing a lot of like population building, a lot of real estate development, and a lot of commercial development. So Salem's growing in a growing city as well. It may not look like it in terms of how many voters there are, but it is growing a lot. And Pete Buttigieg did very well winning in Salem. And Pete Buttigieg did very well winning throughout kind of the southeastern part of New Hampshire, winning up along the seacoast and Hampton and Northampton. Amy Klobuchar winning Rye, actually, which is more of a smaller county. But Pete Buttigieg did very well winning southeastern New Hampshire. And as you go out west towards Amherst, Peterborough, Dublin, all throughout West Keene, for instance, as we get closer to Vermont, we see Bernie Sanders' support among Vermont and western, southern New Hampshire voters as well. But yeah, you see throughout the map, when you look at the map, you see a lot of blue. That's where Bernie Sanders did well. Bernie Sanders, without a doubt, won the state of New Hampshire. But the fact that it was this close is honestly very good signs for Pete Buttigieg. That shows in the first two states, you could say whether Mayor Pete won Iowa, you can say whether Bernie won Iowa, whatever you want to say. The fact is, Bernie Sanders and Pete Buttigieg are both very competitive right now. It's looking like Amy Klobuchar could be as well. But Mayor Pete, if Bernie Sanders is the frontrunner, which right now it's hard to argue that he's not, Pete Buttigieg is definitely giving Bernie Sanders a run for his money, at least in the first two early states. So yeah, that was the state of New Hampshire on the Democratic side. Republican side, I'll just do real quick. Republican side, President Trump won every single town. I didn't really want to spend too much time on this because we kind of knew it was going to happen. President Trump won overwhelmingly against former Massachusetts governor and Libertarian vice presidential nominee for Gary Johnson in 2016, Bill Weld. Bill Weld is, I'd say, relatively well known still in New England, especially Massachusetts and New Hampshire. So he was able to get 9.1%, which is much more than he got in Iowa, but President Trump still won overwhelmingly, without a doubt. We all knew that was going to happen. So with that, we go out. We know Iowa and we know New Hampshire so far. So we're going to go here. This is my delegate map that I'll be taking track on kind of throughout the primary process and kind of posting probably weekly videos of what happens after new states come in. So as the results are right now, Pete Buttigieg did win the state of Iowa. Pete Buttigieg has 14 delegates. Bernie Sanders has 12. Amy Klobuchar has 1. Elizabeth Warren has 8. And Joe Biden has 6. So that's what we know from Iowa right now. New Hampshire, it's not colored in, but I actually did do it. Bernie Sanders and Pete Buttigieg, based off the proportional number of delegates and votes, they actually tied in delegates, both getting 9. Amy Klobuchar getting 6, and that's it. None of the other candidates got any other delegates from the state. So even though it's blank on the map, the delegate map has been filled in. So if there are any comments saying why is New Hampshire blank, Iowa's filled in, New Hampshire already happened, it's just because it's a tie, so it doesn't register in the map. But anyway, the states I have outlined in black are Nevada and South Carolina. These are the delegate Democratic primary states that are up in this month of February that we have not gotten to yet. And of those two, there are 90 delegates up for grabs. Now, I'm not going to do a prediction on how I think these states are going to go in this video. This is just my map of what is happening right now. If you would like to see me do a prediction video for how I think the month of February and maybe even the month of March, if you want delegates, I think will go, I can certainly do that. But yeah, right now on the path for the Democratic primary, we have Pete Buttigieg out to an early lead with 23 delegates. Bernie Sanders right behind him with 21. Elizabeth Warren has 8. Amy Klobuchar has 7. Joe Biden has 6. Mike Bloomberg does not have any yet, and that's where we stand right now with the states of Nevada and South Carolina coming up. So thank you so much for watching the video. Remember, please like and subscribe. Help us get more subscribers and more views in the videos, just like you guys did with the last New Hampshire one. I'd really appreciate it if you help the channel grow and continue to help it grow. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.